Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and I'm excited to have with us today Wade Alexander, who is the Director of Expeditions for CHOICE Humanitarian, a tremendous organization that has a real on-the-ground strategy for ending poverty in the next little while. Wade, thank you very much for joining us. It's really a thrill to have you.
Thanks so much, Devin. So glad to be here.
I'm excited because you and you are taking a whole group of people, and I'm honored to go with you in February to Nepal. This is going to be an amazing trip. I've never been to Nepal. You're now a Nepal expert, and I'm eager to hear about what I'm going to be doing. And I want to be clear right up front. The reason we're having this conversation is because there's still room for people to join the expedition, right? It's not just you and me. It'll be a great group of people. And so in any event, let's start with tell people a little bit about CHOICE.
Great. So CHOICE Humanitarian is a nonprofit organization based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. We were founded more than 3 decades ago, so back in 1982. And since that time, we have evolved with a model of development. It's a self-sustaining model in which we empower villages from the bottom up to eradicate their own poverty and drive themselves down a path towards self-reliance. And so we work with several communities in different areas. Right now, Devin, we work in 5 key countries: Mexico, Guatemala, Bolivia, Kenya, and Nepal. Now, our work goes on every day, every week, every month. We have work going on around the globe with amazing native in-country field teams that work with multiple communities on village-identified projects, initiatives, and so forth. The Expeditions program, which I oversee, allows people to witness that work, to be a part of it, work hand-in-hand with villagers, and really broaden their global perspectives and have an impact on the world, and at the same time learn something from those communities. So, to answer your question, the Nepal trip, what are you going to be doing? Man, there's going to be some amazing stuff going on in Nepal, and I'm excited for you. February 14th through the 21st is this amazing Nepal trip, and it's part of our Distinguished Speakers program. And we were just talking before, but we're hoping for an incredible expedition, and with Devin on board, I'm sure we're going to do that.
Well, Wade, let's start at the beginning. So people are going to be coming from across the country. They will get on airplanes and they will go to some place in Nepal. Where in Nepal are they going to land? Where does this airplane put down?
Fantastic. So on the very first day, which is Saturday, February 14th, that's when people should start arriving into Kathmandu. And so to make it easy for people, it's KTM Airport. So you arrive and depart from Kathmandu. And that first day, we're going to welcome you, greet you at the airport. Our in-country staff, our in-country team, will take you to the hotel, get you checked in, let you rest a little bit because there will be some jet lag. That's inevitable. And we're going to kick things off with a nice orientation, meet and greet fellow volunteers. Yourself, Devin, get to meet the whole group, share a few words that night, and have a great welcome dinner there in Nepal. The following morning, that's Sunday the 15th, we take off toward the villages. And so right now, if we split it up, maybe we'll drive out a little bit the first day if we can, have dinner just outside the city, kind of break up the transportation. But on average, you're looking at 6 to 8 hours drive from Kathmandu into the central Lamjung region of Nepal. And so we're in the foothills of the Himalayas. That's where we work with key communities, and those communities invite expedition groups and host them for a week to partake of that experience.
So we arrive on Saturday. Sunday morning, we're going to get up and we get on a bus and we drive 6 to 8 hours up to the village. Now, will we be able to take the bus right into the village, or do we end up on a mule train or a hike? How, to get to the end, what happens there at the end of the road?
Sure. Let me preface this response with saying that having a sense of humor and being flexible are 2 key components of any expedition, right, Devin? So what could very well happen? We'd love to drive you right into the village, and some villages allow that. But there might be some other villages that, for whatever reason, we might have to trek a good 30 minutes or more. casual trek, nothing too rigorous, and just enjoy the great outdoors, enjoy the view. When
But
we get there,
now, if there's a 30-minute trek, are there going to be porters, or are we going to be carrying our own stuff? Because this influences what we bring.
absolutely. So we will have carriers and porters to basically take the heavy luggage up. If you want to bring a day bag or something, especially your camera, your water bottle, take some pictures, enjoy the moment. But we definitely want to make sure that you feel comfortable and that you're enjoying the experience in that moment. That's a great question, Devin. When you get to the village, you can hear the music from far away. So when you begin walking into the village, you're going to hear the music, you're going to hear the dancing, and you will receive a beautiful welcome ceremony. And no words do it justice. It's just a beautiful welcome ceremony, something very sacred and special. And the villagers, village leaders, even the schoolmaster is there to welcome everyone and adorn you with flowers and so forth. And that night we'll have a great dinner, lots of dancing, celebration.
Let's slow down. Wait. I know you're excited. So we're walking into the village, the music's playing, we're greeted. How many people are typically on an expedition?
So we've had groups as small as maybe 12 to 15 people, and we've had groups as big as 40 or more. That's kind of where we like to cap it.
Okay. So it's a pretty intimate group. It's small enough that you'd get to know everyone on the trip. You may not know them all on the first day, but by the end of the week, you're probably going to know them pretty well, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Plenty of opportunities to interact with each other as volunteers, as well as with the villagers and different families.
I generally find that the people on trips like this are phenomenal people. I mean, think about it. You're screening out all of the selfish people, right? The only people who go on this are people who are eager to do something for someone else, eager enough to pay for the privilege to travel across the world to go be of some help. So you're going to be with great people, right?
That's absolutely correct. And you bring up a good point, Devin, because it's funny. There is kind of this self-filtering process. You know, you're going to go to the middle of nowhere on this remote experience that's somewhat rugged and authentic and life-changing. And so there's a certain demographic that goes on those trips. And yet, what's so funny about it is 99% of those people come home saying that their lives were changed, their eyes were open, they had this amazing experience. And so to think that such amazing individuals join these trips and come home even more enriched, even more enlightened, ready to make their mark on the world.
Yeah, well, it is inspiring. Okay, so we've got the group, 30 or so people into the village. We've been greeted. What happens next?
So really what happens next is we're going to engage in several different projects throughout the week. And so really Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be engaged in intercultural activities and so forth. For example, different projects that this trip might include would be doing biogas digesters, which means digging big giant holes into the side of the mountain to help families out and bring methane gas into their homes in a safer and healthier way, as opposed to the indoor cooking fires and so forth.
What a difference that would make to people.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we were working on that just a few months ago when I was in Nepal, a life-changing project. And once again, these are village-identified projects. So the village will come forward and say, we need biogas digesters, or we need a schoolhouse, or we need a health clinic nearby. That's what we need, and we're ready to put our manpower into it. We just need some extra support. And so, Devin, one thing I want to point out to all the viewers is that while the project is a key part to the expedition, it's not the focus of the expedition. It's a catalyst for the intercultural exchange we want people to have. And the intercultural exchange will also be made through soccer games, different activities, dancing, music, visiting families in their homes, learning about their daily lives and routines. Also maybe doing a mini trek around the village one day. But we really want people to get to know the villagers, the members of those communities.
That makes such perfect sense. What are some of the other projects? So if we're not digging a hole, we might be building a health clinic or a school. Tell us a little bit about the kinds of activities that are involved, and I want to drill down just enough so that we understand what kind of physical condition people need to be in.
Great. So first things first, there is no quota with any project during an expedition. Many times we'll come in during the beginning of a project, sometimes maybe the middle, even sometimes the very end when they're wrapping up. The fact is, we're going to play a small role in the completion of this project because the villagers own it from the beginning to end. So different things that we might do. For those who want to be rigorous and work hard, sure, you can dig holes, you can move boulders, you can mix cement, you can dig trenches, things like that, even help make bricks and so forth. And for those that want to avoid all the treacherous work, you can be the cheerleaders there, passing us water and playing with the village kids in the background and having your own interaction.
So is it possible for people who are not physically robust to participate in the trek, or is it important for you to be in good health? And I guess partly thinking about age and health and those kinds of things.
Absolutely. In fact, that casual trek, which is a possibility going into a village, I hope that no one feels discouraged with that. It is very casual, if there is any trek at all, and really up to about 30 minutes. And we want it to be enjoyable for you. We definitely don't want it to disqualify anyone. So another question that pops up related to this is, well, what if a certain person just doesn't have the energy or ability to work on this project, to offer manual labor? That's fine. We're not looking for construction workers, because I can promise you the majority of people that jump on our trips have no construction background, and it's obvious from day one. And that's a great thing about it, right, Devin? Because the villagers are teaching us. The villagers are showing us what works in their community, what works for them. And that's an empowering experience, Devin, when you have other people on the other side of the world realizing we have something to teach these American volunteers. We have something of value to give to them, and we love it. We love it.
Yeah. Well, trust me, there's no shortage of things I could learn. So I look forward to that. So we're working on the project. That's part of the day. And then you said there's cultural activities. Tell us a little bit about the cultural activities. What are we doing, and how is the rest of our time filled?
Sure. So first I want to touch on the food real fast, if you don't mind, because I got to talk about the meals. Everyone's always asking about the meals. First of all, we bring in filtered water. We'll have water on hand throughout the week, make sure people are healthy and hydrated. But the food is out of this world. We have a native Nepali cooking staff that kind of comes in and takes care of us for a week, preparing some amazing foods, mixing local Nepali foods with American staple foods for comfort. Everyone wants some of those. And for other activities, though, Devin, great question. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be interacting with musicians and other villagers that come down just to visit you. There's going to be discussions. This is a big part of every CHOICE expedition, Devin, are these discussions that we have, especially in the evenings. And these are discussions that our expedition leaders and yourself will have with the group about how are we making our mark on the world? Why are you here? What is your purpose? What are you trying to get out of this experience for yourself or for the village? What learning experiences are you having? And we want to help interpret the experience that people are having on the expedition, shift their paradigm of what is poverty. And so, as well as having a distinguished speaker, such as yourself, Devin, on this trip, there'll be opportunities for you to also engage the volunteers with important topics, once again, about how to make a positive impact on the world, not just in a Nepali village, but elsewhere when you go home as ambassadors to CHOICE Humanitarian.
This is really an exciting thing. So we're there, really the work days are 4 days. So we get in Sunday, we probably have dinner, settle in, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we work. How do we wrap up that work session? So Thursday night, what's going on?
Great. So Thursday night, it's like a normal work day. We're working, we're interacting with the villagers, we're having a great time. We've learned over the years, Devin, that's kind of the threshold for people to pull off the grid, get away from home, and be working. It's kind of that threshold about Thursday night. And so come Friday morning, the following day, we have the closing ceremony. and you can expect the same kind of music and dance and festivities going on. So that's kind of our farewell, and it's emotional. And you might think to yourself, well, wait a minute, I've only been in this village for just a few days. I promise you, it is emotional. I've seen volunteers cry. I've seen villagers cry, village leaders cry. It's a powerful moment to see that, these friendships that were born and just within a week. And from there, we get back in our vehicle, say goodbye, and we start heading back to Kathmandu, 6 to 8 hours.
So then we'll be back in Kathmandu Friday night.
That's correct.
So most people will leave Saturday. They'll get on an airplane on Saturday to come home, or perhaps head off to India or Bangladesh or someplace to do a little more sightseeing.
That's right, Devin. So Friday night comes around, we'll check you back into the hotel. That's included as part of the expedition. The hotel on the first night and last night. We'll have a farewell dinner. There's some great restaurants there in Kathmandu. We'll have a farewell dinner, share our feelings, also a bit of gratitude for the amazing CHOICE team that was able to pull this off. And closing discussions, remarks, get back to the hotel, get some rest, and the next day, Saturday, people are free to depart from Kathmandu Airport. I definitely suggest some time to explore Kathmandu in the least. It's an amazing city, a bustling city, great place to be. But as you mentioned, Devin, for those who want to extend somewhere else, hey, people might want to do an optional, trek to base camp for Mount Everest. Others might want to just go explore the stupas and temples in Kathmandu, or hey, rearrange your flight so you can go visit India and Thailand, and even drop in cities like Hong Kong or elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a fantastic region of the world, and so it is a great opportunity. One thing we didn't talk about, Wade, is where people sleep. So once you leave Kathmandu, so Sunday night through Thursday night, where are we sleeping? There's no hotel in this village.
No, there's not. In fact, what happens is when a village decides to host an expedition and invites us to participate in this project with them, they basically offer us 1 or 2 or more classrooms at the local schoolhouse. That doesn't mean that we're canceling school. We're going to have the classes elsewhere. They make arrangements for us. But really, we're going to go in. We set up camp in the classrooms. It's a group setting, so usually we have a bunch of guys over here, a bunch of women over here in the room next door, and they provide a kind of a thin foam pad. But don't let that trick you. I would definitely bring something for your back if you want a good night's rest each night. Bring a sleeping bag, get comfortable, and yeah, just kind of set up camp there in the schoolhouse, and that's going to be home for the next few days.
What is the weather like in February in Nepal, in the village where we're going?
Sure. So it's actually great weather. I would say you can expect anywhere between mid-70s to mid-80s in the part that we're going to be, dipping down in the evening to probably the low 60s, mid to high 50s. So bring something that will keep you cool at night, but everyone's different in that regard. But when you pack clothing, bring layers, because obviously you're going to be shedding those layers throughout the day as you work on your project. And as the time gets closer, for those who sign up for this trip, we'll have an in-depth orientation where we go over a detailed packing list and make sure everyone's prepared. Okay.
Now, one of the painful questions that we need to cover, no one wants to talk about this, but we need to. What is the cost?
Great. So we're actually going to cover a few things with that, Devin. So first of all, the expedition fee for an 8-day expedition, Saturday through Saturday, all-inclusive with CHOICE Humanitarian, is $21.95 per person, $19.95 per student, airfare not included. So you need to be looking at airfare for Nepal, and that can range anywhere between, I've seen it, $1,500 to $1,800 around there. On top of that, people want to ask, okay, what do I need to get there? To get in the country, what's required? Definitely want to make sure you have a valid passport. Passport for at least a passport that's valid for at least 6 months beyond the travel dates. Yes, you do need a visa for Nepal, but it can be purchased for just $25 right there at the airport. So no need to worry about that beforehand. And last but not least, another.
As someone who travels around the world all the time, there is no bigger pain in the world than having to worry about a visa. So it's great that you can just get it at the airport.
That's absolutely right. Bring a little passport-style photo and your visa right there. Now, one last painful question that comes up literally, Devin, is what about vaccinations? What kind of shots do we need? There are no shots required for Nepal. The government does not require anything to get into the country, but we at CHOICE do recommend that you be up to date with all your routine vaccinations.
Yeah, that's always a good idea to be safe. Now, if we're heading up from Kathmandu, we're probably not going to be in an area where there is great malaria risk. But what is your experience there?
Yeah, that's a great point. So with that, we don't require anti-malarial medication. We do suggest people can consult with their physicians and their doctors to kind of get their opinion, because we want to make sure that they do whatever they feel is best for them. For me personally, Devin, I've never had an issue, and I just bring some mosquito repellent or bug repellent with me, and that's kind of my protection throughout the day. That seems to be sufficient for me, at least. Okay.
That seems like the prudent course. Well, Wade, I really appreciate you taking the time to share this information. I appreciate personally the pre-orientation for the trip, because I'm excited about this trip and really looking forward to it. I really hope that we'll have some other people join us who are watching this today. One of the things that I also want to point out is that CHOICE is also developing a partnership with Classy to do crowdfunding, so that people who want to go on the trip but can't afford it can raise the money from friends and family, so that they don't have to necessarily be among the affluent population in America that can afford to go. We can work out a crowdfunding campaign so that people can go that way. So certainly folks who are interested in crowdfunding can reach out to me. I can give them some coaching on that, or reach out to you too, Wade, right?
Awesome. That's absolutely right. And one last point I want to add there, Devin. With the expedition fees that come in, a large portion of those fees goes toward project costs and materials in country. And those funds are leveraged 3 to 5 times as much in country, depending on the project in question. And in order to help subsidize those costs a little bit, yes, stayclassy.org is or Stay Classy is a fundraising campaign platform that we use online, and lets people raise funds for their trip. And Devin, you've been wonderful. You've been a great supporter of CHOICE. It's been a pleasure working with you on some past presentations and events in recent months. And I also want to extend an invitation to the audience to please jump on board, contact us at CHOICE, and let's get you to Nepal.
All righty. Wade, again, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thanks so much, Devin. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
All righty. Let's do some good.